Look closely at your life. Why is it that the harder we try to be noticed, the more invisible we become? We spend our days proving, posting, explaining, hoping someone will finally see our worth. But the truth is, most people are too consumed by their own chaos to care about ours. It's not cruelty, it's reality. Everyone is carrying their private storms, their quiet fears, their own battles that never make it to the surface. And when you realize that, it hurts. It feels like the world just shrugged at your existence. But if you stay with that pain long enough, something shifts. You stop begging for understanding, and you start giving it to yourself. You stop chasing love and you start becoming love. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Be content to seem what you really are." He meant, live without pretending and you'll finally be free. Today we're going to explore 8 brutal, Stoic truths that will teach you to let go of the paralyzing need to be cared for and find peace in the supreme power of self-respect. This is not cynicism. It is the blueprint for emotional self-mastery. The illusion of the scoreboard. 1. The world owes you nothing. The doctrine of preferred indifferents. The first coldest truth is this: the world owes you nothing. We grow up being told that if we are kind, if we work hard, if we give our best, life will somehow return the favor. But that's a fairy tale. The truth is cold, and the Stoics never tried to soften it. No one owes you anything. Not love, not loyalty, not fairness. And the sooner you stop expecting life to be fair, the sooner you stop being its victim. Think about how many times you've said, after everything I've done, they still treated me like this. That sentence alone exposes the illusion. The belief that there's an invisible scoreboard keeping track of what we deserve. But life doesn't keep score. It moves forward, indifferent, just like nature itself. Seneca once wrote, "Expecting gratitude is a trap of the foolish." He knew that waiting for others to acknowledge your pain only chains you to disappointment. The Stoics operated on the distinction between goods, bads, and indifference. Only virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, temperance is a good. Only vice is a bad. Everything else, health, wealth, reputation, and, critically, other people's opinions are indifference. They are preferred when they support virtuous action, but they have no bearing on your inherent worth. Why attach your peace to something functionally irrelevant? When Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, he faced betrayal and plague. He never once complained about fairness. Instead, he reminded himself, you can't expect figs in winter, meaning, don't demand what reality cannot give. You can't demand warmth from cold hearts or peace from chaotic minds. Freedom begins the moment you stop keeping score. The moment you stop demanding apologies that never come, praise never offered, and fairness that never existed. Life becomes simpler, not easier, but clearer. Because once you remove the illusion of what you're owed, you see what's real. Your effort, your discipline, your virtue, that's all that was ever truly yours. Epictetus taught his students that nothing external is guaranteed. He said, when you kiss your child, remind yourself that you're kissing a mortal. Not to be cruel, but to remind us everything we cling to, people, praise, possessions, can vanish at any moment. When you accept that, gratitude replaces resentment. You no longer say, why didn't they care? You start saying, I'm grateful they were here at all. The world owes you nothing, and that's your greatest gift. Because if no one owes you, then you owe no one your despair. You're not entitled to an easy life. You are invited to a meaningful one. Every challenge is proof that life believes you're capable of more. Every silence, every rejection, every moment you're unseen. It's not punishment, it's training. Freedom begins where entitlement ends. Action today. Identify one expectation you have of a person or situation, e.g., they should have thanked me. Consciously revoke that contract, accepting that you gave the gift purely for your own virtue. Mantra: the world owes me nothing. I owe myself integrity. 2. The Doctrine of Universal Indifferents, Sympatheia. 2. People are too busy surviving their own storms, the illusion of personal slap. It's easy to believe that people ignore you because they don't care. But that's rarely the truth. Most of the time, they're not cruel. They're just drowning quietly in their own chaos. Everyone you meet is fighting an invisible battle. The boss who snapped at you is terrified of losing control. The friend who vanished without explanation is numbing their own pain. The stranger who cut you off in traffic is desperate just to make it through the day. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others, strict with yourself." This is the practice of Sympatheia, or universal fellowship, recognizing that all humans are deeply flawed and interconnected parts of a whole. Your colleague's brusque email is not a critique of your soul. It is a symptom of their overwhelming stress. When you accept this, something inside you softens. You stop taking everything personally. You stop making their silence about your worth. You realize their distance no longer feels like rejection. It feels like reality. Seneca once said, "What we suffer from is not the events themselves, but our judgment about them." When someone doesn't respond, we judge it as they don't care. But the Stoic sees it differently. They're human, just like me. Imperfect, preoccupied, fragile. That shift changes everything. You move from resentment to empathy, from victimhood to understanding. The Stoic approach isn't to harden your heart. It's to strengthen it. To remain kind even when kindness isn't returned. To remain centered even when the world forgets your name. Because you understand now, people aren't heartless. They're just busy surviving storms you'll never see. So the next time someone disappoints you, pause. Don't spiral into self-doubt. Whisper instead. They're fighting something too. Let that truth ground you, not break you. Compassion isn't weakness, it's mastery. They're not ignoring you. They're fighting their own war. Action. Today. The next time you feel a sting from someone's indifference, instead of reacting, visualize a massive weight pressing down on their shoulders, their invisible storm. Then, simply let go of the judgment. Recognizing their behavior is a symptom of internal stress. Mantra: I offer compassion, but I do not demand perfection. 3. Detachment and the inner life. 3. Attention isn't love. It's distraction, the fickleness of the crowd. We live in a world obsessed with attention. Every notification, every like, every view feels like proof that we matter. But the Stoics would tell you a hard truth. Attention is not love. It's noise. It's distraction disguised as validation. Attention is fickle. It comes fast and disappears faster. You can have 1,000 people looking at you and still feel completely invisible because attention doesn't fill the soul. It feeds the ego, and the ego is never satisfied. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know who you are." The crowd cheers the loudest when you entertain them, not when you grow. Their attention is conditional. It lasts only until the next spectacle appears. But love, real love, is quiet. It stays when no one is watching. The Stoic separates the two. Attention feeds pride. Love feeds purpose. Pride says, "Look at me." Purpose says, "Let me serve." The next time you feel unseen, don't chase the spotlight. Build your character. Don't refresh the feed. Refresh your mind. Ask yourself, would I still live this way if no one ever noticed? Because the answer to that question reveals your freedom. Seneca warned, "He who seeks fame never finds peace." That hunger for acknowledgement is endless. When you starve it, something miraculous happens. Clarity returns. You start doing things because they're right, not because they're recognized. Attention fades, but character endures. Action. Today, for one full day, Treat your phone/computer like an outgoing-only device. Send emails and complete tasks, but refuse to open social media or check metrics that feed the validation cycle. Mantra: attention is a flicker. I seek the enduring light of purpose. 4. When you stop seeking validation, peace begins, the power of ascent. Most people spend their entire lives auditioning for approval. We build our identity on the fragile foundation of other people's opinions and then wonder why it all collapses the moment they change their mind. The Stoics called this the sickness of the soul, living at the mercy of praise and blame. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." The moment you stop needing others to validate you, you become untouchable. You stop dancing for applause. You stop living for permission. Marcus Aurelius warned himself daily, stop hoping for applause. He knew that every time you wait for someone to recognize your worth, you give them power over your emotions. Validation is a leash disguised as affection. The Stoic learns to make peace with the quiet. He measures success not by praise, but by alignment. Did I act with virtue? Did I do what was right? Did I stay in control of myself? That's where peace begins. Not when the world agrees with you, but when your conscience does. You learn to stand still, solid, even if no one claps, because peace isn't built in public. It's forged in solitude. Seneca said, "He who is contented with his lot is rich. He who is content without validation is free, because the person who no longer depends on praise has already mastered his emotions." Stop asking, "Do they see me?" and start asking, "Do I respect the way I live?" Peace begins when validation ends. Action. Today, identify the one task you avoid because of the fear of failure or judgment. Do it today with the specific intention of not telling anyone about the result. Let the virtue of the effort be your only reward. Mantra: my conscience is my witness. My approval is sufficient. Evi, from adversity to inner citadel. 5. Rejection is redirection. The Stoic alchemist. Rejection is one of the deepest cuts a person can feel. But from a Stoic perspective, rejection is never personal. It's a correction, a redirection from what was never meant to be yours toward what will actually shape your strength. Seneca once said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." He meant that obstacles, disappointments, and closed doors are not detours from your path. They are the path. Every rejection carries information. It teaches you what no longer serves you, where your energy was misplaced, and who was never truly aligned with your growth. It doesn't take from your worth, it refines it. The Stoics believed that nature is rational, that even in loss there's order, there's direction. What if every no is life's way of removing what would have weakened you? This is Stoic alchemy, turning pain into strength, rejection into redirection. Epictetus taught that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The Stoic stops the cycle. He says, "It happened, it hurt. Now what is it teaching me?" To live as a Stoic is to accept that nothing meant for your growth will ever truly pass you by. Every no that stings today prepares you for the yes that will require a stronger version of you tomorrow. Life doesn't reject you, it redirects you. Action. Today, recall a recent rejection, personal or professional. Instead of focusing on the pain, write down 3 concrete lessons it forced you to learn about yourself, your boundaries, or the non-controllable nature of the world. Mantra: the wound is temporary, the wisdom is eternal. I embrace redirection. 6. Emotional detachment is not coldness, it's strength, the inner citadel. Emotional detachment through the Stoic lens isn't the absence of feeling, it's the mastery of it. It's the ability to stand in the middle of chaos and not let the chaos become you. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The Stoic chooses silence over spectacle. He knows that every time you overreact, you hand over your power. Emotional detachment is a shield. It protects your peace from being shattered by every careless word and passing storm. Marcus Aurelius observed his own mind like a scientist. He reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's detachment, the power to choose your state regardless of circumstance. The moment you pause, that sacred second, is where freedom lives. It's the gap between what happens and who you choose to be. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you stop loving people. It means you stop letting them control the temperature of your soul. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more from our imagination than from reality." The Stoic learns that emotional detachment quiets the imagination. When they call you distant, remember this: cold hearts don't stay calm. They freeze. Strong hearts remain warm, but unmoved. Detachment is not withdrawal, it's command. Action. Today, practice the 3-second pause before replying to any message, email, or verbal challenge that triggers you. Use that pause to label the emotion, e.g., "This is fear," or "This is my ego," and choose a rational, measured response. Mantra: I feel deeply, but I act with reason. 7. Your worth is proven in solitude, the ultimate test. Most people fear being alone because silence exposes the truth they've been running from. In the quiet, there are no distractions, no applause, no validation, no noise to drown out the question, "Who am I?" when no one's watching. But for the Stoic, solitude isn't emptiness, it's training. It's the gym of the mind, where strength is built in silence. Marcus Aurelius wrote meditations in the stillness of his tent. He didn't wait for praise or company. He faced himself, and that made him unshakable. When you embrace solitude, you stop negotiating your worth with the world. You realize that confidence isn't built through recognition. It's built through repetition of showing up for yourself, even when no one else does. Seneca reminded us, "He who is never alone is not free." When you can stand alone and still feel whole, you've found real freedom. You've proven your worth not by who loves you, but by how deeply you love yourself. Go there often, stay there long enough to feel uncomfortable, and then longer still. Because in that space, you'll discover something rare. The quiet certainty that you are enough, even when no one claps, no one calls, and no one cares. Silence isn't emptiness, it's training. Action. Today, schedule 30 minutes of uninterrupted solitude today. Use the time only for quiet reflection, journaling, or working on a deep, non-social task. Resist the urge to fill the silence with any external input. Mantra: I am whole in my solitude. My silence is my strength. 8. Care deeply but expect nothing. The paradox of true love. The greatest paradox of strength is this: you can love fully yet remain free. To the Stoic, caring deeply doesn't mean clinging tightly. It means giving your heart without handing over your peace. True love, whether for a person, a dream, or a cause, is about expression. You give because it aligns with your nature, not because you expect something in return. Epictetus wrote, "When you kiss your child, remind yourself that you're kissing a mortal." He said it to teach presence, to love without illusion, to appreciate without demanding permanence. In modern life, most people love conditionally. The Stoic breaks that cycle. He says, "I give because it's who I am, not because it's who they are." Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Accept whatever comes woven into the pattern of your destiny." That acceptance doesn't make love weaker. It makes it eternal because it's rooted in virtue, not circumstance. To care deeply, but expect nothing, is not apathy. It's mastery. You stop loving to get you start loving to grow. Because when you no longer expect, every gesture becomes a gift. Love without need, help without applause, action. Today, perform an anonymous act of generosity or kindness, a compliment, a service, a donation, and immediately move on. Refuse to seek acknowledgement or even reveal it to anyone. Let the act itself be the sole reward. Mantra: my love is a choice, my peace is non-negotiable. Conclusion: the freedom of the unseen. When you finally accept that no one truly owes you care, something extraordinary happens. You stop waiting to be rescued, and you start rescuing yourself. You stop chasing validation and start building character. That's what the Stoics meant by freedom. Not comfort, not applause, but command over your mind. Let's remember what we've learned. The world owes you nothing. People are too busy surviving their own storms. Attention isn't love, it's distraction. Peace begins when you stop seeking validation. Rejection is redirection. Detachment is strength. Solitude is where your worth is proven. The highest form of love is to care deeply, but expect nothing. Marcus Aurelius said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." The next time the world seems indifferent, don't take it personally. Take it as training. No one owes you care, but you owe yourself mastery. Repeat it until it becomes truth. I am becoming unshakable day by day. If this message has helped you claim your inner sovereignty, hit the like button to share this essential philosophy with others, and subscribe to the channel for more training in Stoic self-mastery.